Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm David.
And I'm Carol.
And we're at Drayton Hall. And we are
Loving
the real world.
You have arrived at your destination. Your route guidance is finished.
Oh my goodness. The Kellogg family donated $1 million or above.
Drayton Hall is located in the Ashley River Historic District. It was declared a National Historic Landmark in 1960. Wow, the year of my birth. The home sits on 630 acres. It is the oldest unrestored plantation house in America.
John Drayton Sr. was the third son of Thomas and Ann Drayton. They lived on Magnolia Plantation. John knew he would never inherit the Magnolia Plantation, so he built Drayton Hall at the ripe old age of 22 or 23 years old. Construction began in 1738 and it was completed around 1752. The flanking outbuildings, consisting of a laundry house, was destroyed by an earthquake in 1886, and the kitchen was destroyed by a hurricane in 1893.
The portico is similar to that of Villa Cornoro in Venice, Italy. The floor plan on the inside is a Palladian style.
Drayton Hall only allowed us to take pictures on the inside of the home. No videos was allowed. So we start the tour in the basement, which is really not underground, it's just the first level.
Drayton Hall has an English basement, which has a flattened apartment on that first level. This is where the domestic slaves would have lived. Under the stairs, the slate was removed, and they did do some excavating and found some artifacts that related to this time period.
If you notice on this door, the back side of the woodwork is all flat. The opposite side that faces outward has decorative woodwork with raised panels. They wanted to make sure that anything that the visitors or guests saw looked nice.
Just so you're prepared, we spent a long time in the basement and then finally made it up to the front porch.
Now that we're finally up here, if you notice on the left-hand side, there's a door. It leads to the chamber. This is where all the business is done. The door directly in front of you goes to the Great Hall. That's where all your social events happen, dancing and partying, things like that. On the right-hand side is the library. This is usually what the children would use to enter the house.
Most guests would never have made it beyond this room of the Great Hall.
We can only imagine how many social events were held in this room. See, there were 7 generations of Draytons that lived in this house. Now let's walk back down to the dining room.
In designing the home, if there was a door on the right, there also had to be a door on the left. And in this house, they have removed one of the doors so that you can see all that's behind it is brick. All the 360,000 brick were made on site by slaves, sometimes even children. And in one of these bricks, you can see a fingerprint, possibly of a child.
Fun fact, November the 29th, 2021, this mahogany staircase was restructured by taking it apart and reinforcing the underlayment so it would be safe for you.
I find it surprising that this gorgeous staircase is in the back of the house and not the front of the house.
As we stroll around this house, I start thinking, how can a 22-year-old man afford a place like this? It just boggles my mind. Find out, you start doing research, John Drayton was a judge, and he had 100 commercial plantations with a total of approximately 76,000 acres of land. No telling how many slaves he had running these lands. He made most of his money from indigo, cattle, and rice.
During the Civil War in 1865, John, a fourth-generation Drayton, who was a surgeon, was allowed to stay at Drayton Hall. 4 other plantations on the Ashley River were burnt by federal forces. It is thought that Drayton Hall was not burned due to smallpox quarantine flags, which is plausible since John was a surgeon.
One of the most interesting things that we found was a height chart. A couple pointed this out to us as we was walking through the library. It looks like all 7 generations were marked on the door. The tour guide forgot to point this out to us, but we had to say something about it because we thought it was cool and thought you may too.
Since Drayton Hall is a preservation and not a restoration, I feel that these plantations should be restored to their original grandeur. We also feel staging the home with period-correct furnishings would be more visually pleasing.
We want to thank all of our subscribers for hanging in there with us, and if you have not joined yet, go ahead and start loving the real world and subscribe today. It's free. So until next time, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.